Congressman Ryan's first solo day on the campaign trail was greeted by those hecklers over his plans to remake Medicare. It's an emotional issue that has brought attacks and counterattacks during every presidential race since easily the early 90s. And here it comes again. Our report tonight from our chief White House correspondent and political director, Chuck Todd.
Meet Mitt Romney's right-hand man. A rising star in the Republican Party, Paul Ryan was elected to Congress in 1998 at just 28 years old. As chairman of the House of Representatives Budget Committee and a staunch conservative, Ryan's peddling ambitious schemes to slash government spending. These include plans to privatize Social Security and the government-backed Medicare health insurance. In 2010, Ryan authored a controversial alternative budget to counter President Barack Obama's, which had been stalled by Republicans. And in January 2011, it was Ryan who gave the official Republican response to Obama's State of the Union address. So what does the President of the United States make of Romney's number two?
Barack Obama has launched his first offensive against his presidential rival's running mate, Paul Ryan. Mitt Romney's vice presidential choice is widely seen as a radical reformer over a conservative budget he authored. But the U.S. president warned he was a threat to the elderly and the poor.
They have tried to sell us this trickle-down fairy dust before. And guess what? It did not work. It did not work. It's not a plan to cut the deficit. It's not a plan to create jobs. It's not a plan to revive the middle class. It's not a plan to move our economy forward.
The rough and tumble of politics. Newly named Republican vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan in Iowa. He may be a darling of the conservative right, but plenty of people here think he wants to tear apart popular government programs that help the old and the poor. His opposition to abortion in almost any circumstance is a big problem for Cherie Mortiz.
It puts women's health at risk. They're not supportive of birth control. I mean, they want to throw us right back to the Stone Age.
The Wisconsin congressman has certainly added some excitement to the presidential race. He's a good deal more animated than his older, stiffer running mate, Mitt Romney.
We need to stop spending money we don't have. President Obama has given us 4 years of trillion-dollar-plus deficits. He is making matters worse, and he is spending our children into a diminished future.
And that's his central theme. The U.S. needs to spend less, even at the cost of the most vulnerable.
Mitt Romney's selection of Ryan as his running mate has put Medicare back into the campaign spotlight. That's the federal health insurance program started by Congress back in 1965. It provides health care benefits for millions of Americans, most of them 65 and older. Last year, Medicare covered more than 48 million Americans at a cost of more than $549 billion. But with a growing number of seniors and rising health care costs, government experts estimate Medicare could run out of money, perhaps as soon as 2024. Democrats and Republicans are deeply divided over how to fix Medicare. And it's a key issue in states like Florida, with large numbers of older voters who use Medicare.
I'm delighted to have picked as my running mate Paul Ryan, a great leader.
It's the Paul Ryan effect. The crowds are getting bigger, maybe too big, as Mitt Romney noted, for his own security measures.
Looks like we just didn't have enough of those mags to get everybody in time.
But Romney is finding exciting the Republican base comes at a price. The GOP contender must also defend Ryan from attacks on the Wisconsin congressman's controversial budget plan, which calls for a partial privatization of Medicare for future seniors, a tough sell for retirees in Florida.
The president's idea, for instance, for Medicare was to cut it by $700 billion. That's not the right answer. We want to make sure that we preserve and protect Medicare.
It was Romney's first solo event Since the two running mates went their separate ways late Sunday, Ryan to Iowa and Romney to Florida so they can cover more ground. Their last event together, an emotional homecoming for Ryan in Wisconsin.
My veins run with cheese, bratwurst, and a little spotted cow, Liney's, and some Miller.
But the Obama campaign offensive to define Ryan has already begun.
I am told that Governor Romney's new running mate, Paul Ryan, might be around Iowa the next few days. He is one of the leaders of Congress standing in the way.
President's re-election team unleashed a new web video featuring seniors in Florida raising questions about the Ryan plan.
It doesn't make any sense to cut Medicare. It will be a voucher plan.
The Romney campaign first responded by pointing to the name at the top of the ticket, only to later concede a President Romney would make the Ryan plan the law of the land.
Paul Ryan up against the president right where he's been before with that controversial budget plan. And those changes to Medicare, a plan that Mitt Romney applauded during the primary.
Governor Romney, you said during a debate earlier this year of Paul Ryan's latest Medicare proposal that it's absolutely right on. So I'm curious, is there anything about it you disagree with?
We haven't gone through piece by piece and said, oh, here's a place where there's a difference. I can't imagine any two people, even in the same party, who have exactly the same positions on all issues. But my plan for Medicare is very similar to his plan for Medicare.
Governor Romney going on to tell me that neither he nor Paul Ryan would want to change Medicare for retirees or near retirees, that this is for a future generation to look at. But the fact that they are taking on this real policy difference with the president, a sign this race is quickly changing, Diane.